Hi, I'm Cris. Welcome to a new episode of AkiLanguage World Tour.
And I'm Jack. Hi guys.
As you know, this is our brand new project dedicated to language learning. If you have any questions or ideas, feel free to reach us on Instagram at cris_akituscanyproject as well as jack_akituscanyproject. You are welcome to write us your feedback via traditional email at cris.akituscanyproject@gmail.com as well as jack.akituscanyproject@gmail.com. You will find all the links in the section comment both on YouTube if you are watching to the video edition as well as major podcast platforms if you're listening to the audio.
Get in touch with us, guys, and let's keep up with your ideas.
Sure. So Jack, as a first topic, if you remember last time we chatted about our experiences with language learning and basically how it became a passion of ours. This time we would like to give you practical advice, especially if you are like us and you haven't been studied your target language for a really long time, or maybe you are just planning to start brand new.
Yeah, that's right, Chris. Actually, I don't have a magic solution for recatching up with a language whatsoever, but I would like to give my couple of advice about how I managed to still improve my Russian after all these years. Especially considering that, I work in the tourism sphere, I work in a travel agency. Lately, I've not been meeting many Russian tourists here, so I'm trying to catch up with the language in a different way. Let me say that, first of all, Russian, I find it a very difficult language to catch up with, because it's one of those that if you're not keeping a constant daily practice, actually even gripping some difference of meanings, even just reading the Cyrillic alphabet will be not so easy at all, because we are talking about a language with the different letters and characters.
Of course, I understand it with Japanese or Asian languages in general.
Yes, I was reading lately Russian literatures that, as you know, I'm really fond of, Chris, and the so famous and popular novel by Lev Tolstoy, Anna Karenina. Back in the years, I think it was like 10 years ago or something, I was giving a private lesson to a Russian woman who came to Italy for a short period of time, and as a reward after all my lessons on Italian culture and language, because she was trying to integrate in our society, she gave me as a present a version of Anna Karenina in a Russian language.
It's great.
So these days I'm just comparing the two texts, reading in Italian or in Russian, and trying to focus on seeing how every word is getting translated, or some kind of particular expression which has sense only if you look at the entire meaning of a phrase, the so-called collocation or idiomatic expressions. For example, those kind of expression that when you read it in Russian you don't immediately understand the sense because they are so complex, or maybe they have different references to the culture. Just reading the two texts, it helps me a lot improving my Russian vocabulary.
Sounds great. As for me, I would like to give just a general advice, and don't think you need to spend like 30 minutes or even 1 hour every single day in order to keep your practice, or even that's especially true if you are planning to start. So if you are busy like us and pretty much everyone else in the world and you don't have much time, I would recommend you to start with just 5 to 10 minutes a day. Despite how busy you might be, it's not impossible to find this short amount of time. So as long as you accomplish the first time, maybe for a couple of days, it will little by little being part of your studying routine. So I will recommend you that no matter the language, and that's basically what I'm planning to do with my Japanese. As well as Jack, I'm also interested in start learning Chinese, and the topic of learning multiple languages at the same time, I'm pretty sure we will dedicate an entire episode to that as well. I'm not sure that I can recommend it to everyone. Me and Jack, we are already polyglots, so we speak Italian as well as English, French, Japanese for me, Russian for Jack, as well as several other languages to different levels. I wouldn't feel to recommend this to everyone. But the fact to dedicate a really short time, that's totally okay, especially if you are starting, because you can change or improve your schedule and your study plan even after a couple of weeks.
Sure, Cris, that's right. Concerning timing, I would go to a pace of 2 pages a day. It's 10, 15, maximum 20 minutes a day.
That because you're already completely fluent in Russian. I would say that if you're a beginner, don't think that you can do 2 pages in just 10 minutes. I remember even for me when I started studying English and maybe I was like 12 or 13. Of course, 2 pages were like a huge challenge for me. It's not about the quantity, but more about the quality of your study.
Yes, of course, it's all subjective and depending on your level. It's important to notice and to remind that every one of us has its own timing and pace in reading and learning and studying, so everyone is different and every kind of rhythm is okay.
Yeah, of course, it's important to specify that we are talking for, I would say, an adult who is very busy with work or other stuff to do. If you are like a student or a university student and you've been following a specific class, let's say French or Spanish, I wouldn't recommend to study just for 10 minutes every day, but just to do your best to keep up with the speed of your class.
Sure, it depends on how much is demanded from you and the task that you must complete.
Yeah, me and Jack, we are learning for just the pleasure of learning a new language, to know more about other cultures.
Yeah, that's right, Cris, and you did good in specifying that.
Yeah, maybe if you're planning to do, I don't know, like for Japanese, the JLPT, that would be like the language proficiency test, I wouldn't recommend really 10 minutes a day.
Yes, of course, we are talking about our free time. We both are busy doing other stuff, so it's just cutting up some time for our best interests.
Yeah, of course. I said last time I'm working as an online Italian tutor. Most of the time I teach using English, but if I'm able to improve my skills in several other languages, will be also a huge improvement for my tutoring career.
Practicing the languages you already know, it's a good way to consolidate your knowledge and to keep your memory solid and fresh.
Last but not least, I would like to provide a piece of advice to our listeners regarding a specific app that I'm using myself in order to improve my language skills. So of course this video is not sponsored or anything like that, so I'm just saying by my personal experience. The app that I'm referring to is called Drops. You can find like so many languages to study there, I think more than 40 or around 50. It's pretty much like a game in learning new vocabulary, new expressions. If I'm not mistaken, it is free for like 5 minutes per day, but if you're willing to invest a bit more, there is also a premium option. I found it really useful because you can study according to topics, and of course you are going to select like the very basics, or maybe you are a sport fan and you would like to learn all about sport in your target language, and also according to your level, especially if you're learning Far East languages like Korean, Japanese, and Chinese. So I would recommend that compared to others because I feel like it is a bit more structured, and I tried several other apps, but I didn't find the same experience as this one, despite the fact of using like digital tools or traditional textbooks. The very beginning is just to create a learning habit and start with these 5 to 10 minutes per day. Things related and topics related to the materials and also the digital books, the digital apps, as well as traditional textbooks. It's something that you can dive deep into more details later.
That's great, Cris. It's good that you pointed out such a tool because I didn't know that.
As we said last time here, don't think of us as experts. We are just like polyglots who are willing to improve the languages we are already studying, and also hopefully in the future to add even more languages to our experience. So just think of us as your friends in your specific learning path. You are welcome to send us your questions and ideas. We will do our best to answer in the upcoming episodes. So your feedback is very welcome.
Which are the tools by which you're trying to improving in your language learning, guys? Will be here ready to listen.
Of course, and if you have a specific learning plan or strategies, feel free to share in the section comments on YouTube, and maybe we can have a wider discussion next time. Of course, you might give us really great suggestions that might be beneficial for us, but for our listeners as well.
Sure, I think for today we said pretty much everything, right, Cris?
Yeah, last but not least, if you're willing to enjoy more contents that both me and Jack are creating, you're welcome to follow Aki OCD for a mix of mental health as well as our hobbies, with a specific reference to TV series and movies, and right now we are focusing on the brand new season of Ted Lasso, as well as Aki Arcade if you're more interested into the gaming world and technology.
Sure, Cris, you said it right.
So even for today, enjoy learning, and we will catch up very soon.